That is not what I wanted it to do. All right, well, look, I don't want to be here a whole bunch of time anyway, so I'm not going to restart it or fix it or whatever. But I was having a conversation earlier with some new clients about the difference or value in having a nonprofit as opposed to a for-profit business, right? Like how to structure your business and why. Now, this is a conversation that I hear all the time. And there's really a simple answer, right? I feel like in life in general, we shouldn't have to make either or choices, right? Because a lot of times the best answer is both of them. Do both. And here's why, right? So the reason why most people start businesses is they want to, create or affect some kind of change in their community. Aside from making money, right? We want to make money, but we also want to affect change. A lot of times the mission behind nonprofits is community focused, right? It's service based. And what people do understand about nonprofits is that the business is not supposed to be making money, right? Any money that comes into the nonprofit is supposed to be used for the express purpose of whatever that entity or organization was created to do, right? And nonprofits have charters and all that stuff, kind of like your operating agreement with the LLC. It's similar, right? So what people understand is that nonprofits don't make money, but I think the point that a lot of people miss, I can't do that right now. I think the point that a lot of people miss is that the owners of the nonprofit or the not members, but there are people a part of the nonprofit that make money, right? Now, granted, that's not the people feel like ain't no money being made in a nonprofit, and that's not really true, right? But let me tell you what the real value and benefit of having a nonprofit is, right? And I'll explain it to you in this way. Have you ever noticed how like millionaires and billionaires have foundations that they raise funds for, do charities for, fundraise for, right? Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, a lot of the wealthiest people in the world, they are a part of or have some connection to a nonprofit organization. And the reason for that is because when you can donate, whatever you donate to a nonprofit is tax exempt, right? Like the amount of money that you send to or donate to charity, right, is tax exempt. So what a lot of successful, uber wealthy or super rich people do is at the end of the year or periodically throughout the year, they'll make large donations to a charity or nonprofit organization of their choice. And what that does is substantially reduce their tax liability. Right now, this is not me by any means saying don't pay your taxes, but I am absolutely saying there's a way to severely or in a large part decrease your liability, right? Decrease the amount of taxes that you owe. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's service based, it's service oriented or whatever, but I don't know if I should go the for-profit route or the non-profit route. And the reason why I say do both of them is because one, the more money you make, the more good you'll be able to do in your community, right? Like, granted, money don't solve all problems, but it makes things a lot easier, right? It helps. Like I think Jim Rohn said, like money. So the more money you have, the better your financial situation, the higher level of service you'll be able to provide to the community that you want to serve, right? And if you're going to start a business, how we talked about, people start two businesses for two reasons, either to be of service or to make a lot of money, right? your goal, part of your success in business is making money, right? It's a high level of income, is financial freedom, right? But you got to understand, the reason why people say more money, more problems, and I really hate that statement, but understand, the more money you make, the more you're going to have to pay in taxes. But the way that the wealthiest people in the world stay wealthy is by finding ways to reduce their expenses. And taxes is only one of your expenses, but in a lot of cases, it's the largest expense of a business. So if you're going to be a successful business, but you also want to ensure that you keep as much money as possible from the work that you're doing, right? Then the same way you should form a legitimate business structure, a LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, is for the same reason that you should also, on the other hand, create a nonprofit organization, right? Because doing so will allow you to reap the full benefit of the work and the energy that you're putting forth into your community. If it didn't, and you'd like me to elaborate a little more, cool. Comment, ask your question. But if it did make sense, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and share this joint, because somebody needs to hear it. If it made sense to you, it's gonna make sense to somebody else. And I know for a fact, everybody ain't gonna hear what I got to say, but I mean, there's a lot of people that's gonna hear from me that wouldn't hear from other people. And the same is true of you. A lot of y'all got a voice and a message to give to your community. And so many people feel like, oh, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not him yet. I'm not her yet. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, you got to get started before you'll ever be great. And more than you know, there's people watching you. There's people listening to you. There's people like real live, legit rooting for your success. But you'll never find those people until, you know what I'm saying, you open your mouth and you share the gifts and the message and the voice that you've been given. So I want to encourage everybody to do something like that today, right? Like get on Facebook or YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your favorite platform is, and share your truth, speak your mind, say your piece, right? But I am Larry Wiggins Bay, Mr. Lawful Money, the bag man out of Bexar County, Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And I want to encourage everybody within the sound of my voice to apply yourself to supply your wealth, because the only limitations you'll ever have are those you apply and accept on yourself. We'll see y'all in the next one, fam.